3D printed exhaust parts, Ford's new performance pack, they're putting their money where their mouth is, and the rise of big money Power Wheel racing. This and more on this episode of the Run Builder Dumpster Fire podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Run Builder Dumpster Fire podcast. I've actually made it to my 4th episode. Pretty proud of that. Before we get to it, thanks for joining. And if you haven't already, do me a favor and subscribe to YouTube. Follow on Spotify, iTunes, Instagram, you know, all the things. Trying to get this thing going. Need a few more subscribers on YouTube. And I'd sure like it if you hit the subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you don't miss me every Wednesday. We're going to start off, as we always do. This is the Run Builder Report, where I tell you what's been going on this past week. And if you followed along from last week, you know it's not very much. Car-wise, that is. I actually had a crazy weekend. I had a friend show up at the house to pick up some car parts, and then we went to the Dallas Bulls arena football game. You might notice my voice is a little rough because it was pretty fun. One of my all-time favorite podcasts, the Drinkin' Bro podcast, host Ross Patterson was actually playing as the starting kicker for this game. Ross is older than me, and I'm older than I've probably let y'all know. I'm not going to spoil any of that, but he is almost the oldest professional arena football player for this one game. It was a riot. It was fun. It was crazy. Things didn't quite go as planned. There was a fire alarm, and they beat Team Mexico 101-0. It was wild.
Takes the snap. Hidalgo sends it flying, and that's a jump ball, and it's caught by the Bulls. And he'll return this into the end zone for a touchdown.
He's not in yet.
Now he is.
Now, I'm not sure.
It was a lot of fun. I also got to meet Ross Patterson and Jesse Wiseman, who host the Crime Corner podcast. It was really neat getting to be around people who are doing what I actually want this to become, which is kind of my thing. So thanks for helping me with that by watching. Other than that, like I said last week, the rain came and the rain took away. My dad ended up getting a little bit of time at the Good Guys Car Show on Friday, but I was stuck at work. On Saturday, man, it was a rain deluge. Deluge? It didn't stop raining. No car shows. Also, Sunday's race got canceled from all the rain. So the rally car is still sitting in the driveway unused. Ryan did get to play with the rally car a little bit. He got to try out my Sun Chaser shifter, and he really liked it.
Man, these things are fast. We can tell.
That is awesome.
Dude, this is sick.
Isn't it?
This is sick.
That's how they should have come.
This is dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get me one of these puppies. Yeah.
You reach out the Sun Chaser.
I'm going to have to check out the Sun Chaser.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to get him to make me a special knob.
You are a special knob.
Yeah, I know. Maybe powder blue and put numb nuts on it.
You would.
Super small numb nuts.
With all the rain, of course, the lawnmower also didn't get worked on. Pretty much my Run Builder report is nothing except for getting to tell you all I got to hang out with one of my favorite podcast hosts and an actor in some of my favorite movies. So that was pretty cool. But other than that, man, I got nothing for you. So let's move on to our first story. Oh, I forgot to do a story I don't care about. And now it's time for news I don't care about. Neither should you. The 2026 Toyota Prius non-plug-in hybrid is actually getting an astounding 57 miles per gallon city and 56 miles per gallon highway. I don't care. Sorry, just don't. Moving on to news I do care about. Let's start out with a newer product that I've been following quite heavily and thought you guys might actually think is pretty cool. Xander Gura, sorry Xander, I can't pronounce your name quite properly, has come out with a pretty cool new design. It's not an X-pipe, it's a Z-pipe, and it's 3D printed out of stainless steel. Xander's company is Formula Z Performance, and he prints all these suckers out, like I said, out of stainless steel and in all different sizes. Hey, Xander, I need a 2-inch one. The Z-Pipe by Formula Z Performance is an innovative patent-pending dual exhaust component designed to significantly enhance the performance, sound, and versatility of your vehicle's exhaust system. Crafted with precision engineering, the Z-Pipe ensures a consistently smooth, unrestricted exhaust pathway, eliminating any reduction in cross-sectional area and promoting high-velocity gas flow. This design effectively increases the exhaust scavenging, improving throttle response throughout the entire RPM range. Each Z-Pipe is meticulously 3D printed from high-quality 316L stainless steel, guaranteeing exceptional accuracy, strength, and durability. Easy to install, Z-Pipe is placed completely downstream of all emissions components, making it ideal even for tightly configured installation spaces. The Z-Pipe delivers a refined, clean, and exotic exhaust tone. These 3D printers are getting out of hand. I've got 3D printed parts on my car. My exhaust on the Dirt Stang is pretty unconventional, actually running through the trunk instead of out from underneath the car. I did that so that when I landed jumps, I wouldn't smash it. I know this because several times I jumped the car and I smashed the exhaust. And after the third time of rebuilding it, I rerouted the exhaust through the trunk to get it away from the axle and the ground, pretty much. In my trunk, I have a dual-in, dual-out muffler. To be absolutely honest, I think my car's a little too quiet, which got me really interested in this Z-Pipe. Really, really low restriction. Agree with me or not, but I think that thing would look pretty awesome sitting in the trunk of my car. And I think it would sound pretty rowdy. Xander does have a website, formulazperformance.com. They're all about in the neighborhood of about $1,300 to $1,600, which sounds pretty pricey unless you've 3D printed before. And I have, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and the mistakes are a real giant pain in the butt. But these pieces do look fantastic, and they sound out of this world. We can listen to a little bit of that right here. Yeah, I mean, I don't have exotic supercars, but I sure would like to hear what my Mustang sounds like that. So go hit up Xander on Instagram and tell him that you think the Rum Builder Dirt Stang really, really needs this. And he is not a sponsor, but I sure would like him to be. And if anybody actually has one of these, send me some exhaust clips. I would really like to hear what it sounds like on different cars. Shifting gears to something a little bit more expensive, but also really cool. Ford Performance has announced that they are now offering a new Whipple package, fully warranted, for the Mustang GT and Dark Horse that will give you 810 horsepower. I feel a little slighted here. My F-150 has 720 horsepower and a full factory warranty. At the time, that was as high as you could get without losing the warranty, and on a $40,000 truck that you're adding a $14,000 supercharger setup to, you want that warranty, or at least I do. I know there are a lot of guys out there who like to roll the dice and void their warranty on day one, but man, I'm a baller on a budget. But now Ford Performance, at least in the Mustang so far, is offering a new Whipple kit that, like I said, 810 horsepower. Jeez. And you can take it to the dealer and get any warranty work done. I am a firm believer that competition is the best thing. If Ford comes out with something crazy, and then Chevy has to come out with something crazy to compete with that, and then Dodge comes out with something that should compete with it but weighs 1,000 pounds more than everything else, it's good for all of us. The Dodge guys get more power, the Chevy guys get more power, the Ford guys get more power. It breeds technology, it breeds innovation, and competition is healthy, and I like it. When the Camaro was discontinued, I got really bummed out. When the Challengers and the Chargers got discontinued, I got really bummed out. Glad I'm a Ford guy because they're still doing the Mustangs, and then they're doing the Whippled F-150s, and they're just doing everything that I like. And that's one of the reasons I stay with Ford. I'm hoping that Ford doing this makes the other guys get off the couch and go out and make something cool, so that Ford has to go out and make something cooler. That being said, it is a great time to be a Mustang enthusiast, in my opinion. And that brings us to our main story of the day. This one I've been thinking about for quite a while, and I'm glad I finally get to share it. I was recently at a race at Texas Motorplex down in Ennis, Texas. It was an 8th Mile Little Gangsters race. It was a ton of fun, had a blast, the cars were fast, it was great competition. But what caught me off guard was what they did before the first race. They had a Power Wheels race, where a bunch of kids lined up in the pits and drag raced their stock to heavily modified Power Wheels in a short little drag race. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was fun to see the dads with their kids, and I noticed it was a little bit intense. Then I found out purse for this race was $3,000. $3,000 for a Power Wheels race. Kids racing their Power Wheels with their dad's soup up, and then they're going off and they're racing for big money. Pretty much most of the kids were race car drivers' children, which is awesome in my opinion because we're starting young. There were some 5-year-olds, there were some 12-year-olds, there were some stock Power Wheels, and then there were some heavily modified Power Wheels. There was one I would even consider a Pro Mod. It was a full chassis under a Lightning McQueen body on slicks, and it was fast. We had some that had battery swaps, some that had motor swaps. They were doing burnouts on the line. It was wild. But just to think about that much money attached to a Power Wheel race, I mean, kind of sucks that my kid's grown up because where was this? Where was this when my kid was little? Because I would have been all about this. I come from an RC airplane background, and I know electric motors pretty well, and I think that me and my kid could have hustled pretty hard. Some of the races were less competitive than others. Some of them were really close. In fact, I was standing at the line and I was shooting some video because I just thought it was neat, and I ended up being the line guy. There was a race so quick, and I was the only one who could tell who won. I had to go back frame by frame and figure out who won that race. And driver in that race ended up winning the whole thing, and his dad took a big fat $3,000 back to his trailer before he went to go race his car. So I guess even if you lose, if your kid wins, you still get something. Your kid gets bragging rights. Does that mean the dad has to sit in the back seat on the way home? I don't know. But it was wild. And boy, some of these kids were really in it. I mean, helmet on, fire suit. They had that look in their eye of they were on a mission. And it was hand drop racing. It was just really neat to watch. Well, I recommend checking it out if you're at a race and that you hear there's going to be a Power Wheel race in the pits. Don't skip out on that. That's going to be a fun sight. And I love the fact that it's bringing the kids in early and getting them hooked on racing. Because remember, if you get your kids into racing, they won't have the time or money for drugs. And that brings us to the end of our news segment and on to my favorite part of the show, which is what are you working on? In this part of the show, you send in your projects and we share them with everybody. You can reach me at runbuilder@gmail.com. Send me, please, at least 3 pictures and a short little write-up about what's going on, what you're working on, and I just love to share that with you and root you on because some of us need a push, and this is my push. Watching you guys work on your cars pushes me to work on mine when the weather holds out. First, we have Clifton with his 2003 single cab step-side S10. Originally a 4-cylinder truck, it is no longer. And he's doing some pretty cool things. Let's go into his write-up, and he wrote me a slightly a bit of a novel here. So let's dive in. Clifton says, I bought the truck LS swapped with a T56 about 2.5 years ago. I shattered the clutch on the 3rd day of owning it, and since then, I've been going through and fixing the things the original owner did wrong and trying to build the rest of the truck. I went through 6 stock clutches since owning it and just got a new monster twin disc and lightweight flywheel. So I'll no longer be having issues with that, hopefully. I've done tubular control arms in the front and looking to do coilovers and 2 piston Blazer brakes this year. For the rear, I took an Explorer 8.8, got one of those in my Ranger, chopped it down, didn't do that, and used 2 passenger side short axles to center it up, rebuilt Cobra clutch pack, and new 410 gears. I've got 373s in my truck. I bet this thing digs hard. Well, if you've been through so many clutches, that's probably because it does dig pretty hard. Had a horrible wheel hop, so got some split monoleafs, Caltrax, and Viking double adjustable shocks for the rear. I have some old slapper bars on mine that I really want to send to the junkyard, and I do want to get some Caltrax. So let me know how those went installation-wise. I know the traction bars in my Ride Tech on my F-150 went on like cake, but I know it's more of a universal setup with the Caltrax on the older trucks. So yeah, I'd like to hear about that. Okay. Of course, those don't bolt right up. So the blues of drag racing had to fabricate shock towers and cut through the bed to get proper shock travel. That sounds like a lot of work. Got a GMC Blazer bumper off Marketplace last year for a crazy deal and recently threw it on for test fitting before painting it. Pulled a Bravada grill out of the junkyard on a whim to fit the Envoy bumper and of course new headlights in the Sonoma style. No one makes any cool looking headlights for them, so I had to split them open to build my own retrofit headlight kit. So I'm halfway through the headlight project and hopefully paint matching the bumpers in the next month, as well as installing the new clutch. If I can't make it much faster by tailgate throwdown, at least it will look damn good. That's where I know you from. Yeah, I saw you raced in the stick shift class, and we were going to set up a race with the Ranger, but as you can assume, it's not going to be ready. So, man, get out there and kick stick shift ass. That's an awesome truck. I really like this thing. I remember this from the race, and it was pretty quick. Don't sell yourself short. But I don't think stick shift drag racing is for me anymore. Let's move on to our next one. Next, we have Jamie Hurley and his 1953 M38A1 Jeep. This is a military Jeep that he bought and is restoring back to all original. He's got a lot of work ahead of him. The motor is seized up, paint is garbage, it's got a couple dents, a lot of the electronics don't work, and he's going to be rewiring the whole Jeep, doing bodywork, painting it, and his goal is to make this thing as close to factory 1953 as possible. He says he's going to paint it to match with a military police Jeep, which Jamie was in the military police. He is also part of Lone Star Heroes Outdoors, which is a nonprofit and a YouTube channel that helps vets get out and do stuff. It's a pretty cool channel. I recommend you check it out. He's doing good stuff over there. Moving on to our last vehicle for What You Working On is Ryan Wing. He is a friend of mine, and he was actually at my house this weekend picking up parts for this. So some of these parts in these pictures are actually mine. Ryan says, I just scored this fresh 302 and brand new 202 160 aluminum heads for $900. That's not bad. That's a really good deal. He says, we spent the weekend going around picking up these parts that no one wanted anymore to build the quickest, cheap, fun race car on the planet in 2026. Phase 1, acquire all the parts. Almost complete. Phase 2, we will be fixing the things that are broken and assembling the motor. Phase 3, install said parts and start the nickel and dime process. That is the worst part about all this. No one ever tells you about is it's gaskets, it's nuts, it's bolts, it's brake cleaner, it's fluids, and it just really adds up quick. So don't leave that off your budget if you're building something. Phase 4 will be total... Ryan, you know I can't read big words. Inhalation. Yeah, inhalation. Yeah. Phase 4 will be total inhalation of the 6-second mark. And then I'll teach Jake how to race a stick car. If you haven't been following along with Jake Wing and the Prime Dime S10, you should be. This kid's pretty darn cool. He's got a square body S10, a naturally aspirated LS, an automatic, and he is setting the world on fire, racing people way older than him. Jake's only 14. And he doesn't have his driver's license yet. Not even a permit. And he's already out there kicking butt. He's beat me. I'll admit it. I beat him too, but he has beat me. And I'm not bitter. You can follow Jake's escapades on Instagram and on the Moonshiner YouTube channel, where him and his dad are building an awesome S10, and now they're building an awesome Fairmont. I'm super jealous. Didn't get to do that when I was his age. And I kind of hate him. So screw you, Jake. And that's going to bring it to an end for today. Thanks for following along. And if you want to do me a favor, if you're on YouTube right now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the new episodes. And also get me up to that magical subscriber count so that this can be more than just a little side project, hopefully. You can also find me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Just search Run Builder and you're going to find me. Again, thank you for watching. And until next time, get out there and build something, drive something, and don't let me be the only one having fun.